Paula Roy's Favorite Foods is made possible with the help of Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
I'm pretty sure we all know by now that salads don't exclusively involve just lettuce and chopped vegetables. On today's episode of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods, I'm going to share 3 stellar salads that will perk up palates any time of the year. Our first recipe today is a summer roll salad. It's inspired by the popular Vietnamese salad or summer rolls, which are so delicious to eat, but they're a little finicky to make. You take all the delicious fillings and then you have to snuggle them in some moistened rice paper, and they can sometimes tear. So I thought, why not ditch the rice paper? So let's get this salad started. We're going to make our dressing first, and it's peanut sauce inspired because that's what summer or salad rolls are typically served with. So to begin with, I've got some peanut butter and hot water that I've mixed together in my mason jar. That helps soften the peanut butter so that it's a little smoother to blend. We're going to add some lime juice, about 5 teaspoons, so I'm just going to add a little more to this bowl. Highly recommend a citrus reamer if you don't have one. Great, you wouldn't want to do a pitcher of orange juice, as I think I've said before, but it's great for smaller quantities of lemons and limes and oranges. So now we'll measure out our lime juice. Perfect. And because it's an Asian inspired dressing, we're going to add some sesame oil. I love the flavor of sesame oil. Some soy sauce. And because soy sauce can be kind of salty, as can the peanut butter, the water that's in the dressing helps to balance that. And a little bit of white sugar. We're going to give this a shake. Hopefully it's not too thick to shake. If it is, then you just need to get a whisk or a fork, but this is working out just fine. If you've watched the show before, you know I love to make dressings in mason jars. It's just the easiest way to shake them up and store them, travel with them if your salad's going on a road trip, so highly recommend that technique. All right, we'll clear the decks on our board here. So in our salad bowl, we've got some shredded cabbage and some grated carrot. There's nothing wrong with buying the bags of shredded cabbage or carrot that you see, excuse me, at grocery stores. It saves a lot of time. I just happen to use a lot of cabbage and carrot, so I never mind the commitment of buying a whole head of cabbage. These are vermicelli noodles. Thin rice noodles. This is one brand that I like from Farm Boy, and you don't have to cook them like an Italian style pasta. You just soak them in hot water. So that's what I've done here. So we're going to add those to our bowl. If you're doing them ahead of time, you might want to put a little vegetable or sesame oil on them so they don't stick together while they're waiting to be added. So already there's a lot of going on in this salad. I love it. I'm going to give this a little bit of a toss. And the idea is you want to kind of pull the noodles apart so that it'll be easier to serve later. And get the cabbage and carrot all mixed in there. It always looks to me like it's never going to come together, but the dressing really helps with that. Okay, that's a good start to our mixing. For this, I'm going to add some shrimp because that's often found in summer salad rolls. You could use seared tofu, you could use cooked chicken, you could omit this altogether, but I just really like shrimp in my summer roll salad. So these are little small Canadian, sometimes they're called baby shrimp. They're just a smaller size, and I find that they're a really good 1-bite size in this salad. So next up, we're going to put the dressing on, and then we're going to add our toppings, which is fresh herbs and chopped peanuts. Oh, I almost forgot. If you like a little heat in your Thai food, sriracha or sambal olig is great for a bit of heat, and I do, so I'm going to put a few drops in there. Give it another shake. This is going to be thicker than, I'll say, like an oil and vinegar vinaigrette, but it's just the perfect consistency for pouring on our salad. So we're just going to pour half to start. And try not to pour it all over my hands. And then we'll give it a toss, and then we'll add the rest of the dressing. Whenever I'm dressing a salad, be it a traditional lettuce salad or another kind, I always do the dressing in stages because you don't want to drown your salad. You never know exactly the quantities of what's in the bowl to what's going on top, and it's just easier if you don't overdo it the first time around. This dressing, however, is geared to this particular quantity of ingredients. All right. So normally what I would do is prepare the salad in a bowl that's ample for tossing and mixing, as we're doing right now, and then transfer it to a serving bowl just for a prettier presentation. But if you're just feeding your family or friends that don't care, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, I'm still trying to pull these noodles apart to make sure we're really going to just go for it now. Make sure that it's easy to serve and people get a little bit of all the components when they go to eat it. All right. So now we're going to do our herbs. I like to either just very coarsely chop them or even put the leaves in whole. It's up to you. We're going to start with some cilantro. And I'm just giving it just the barest little cut. If you really like herbs, you can add in this, double this amount or more. It's really up to you. The herbs are a big feature of summer or salad rolls. Now we've got some mint. I love the taste of fresh mint. Mint, the leaves are a bit coarser in texture, so to make it easier to eat, I find that I cut these a little bit more than the cilantro. There we go. And of course, you can tear them if you prefer. I think that's probably a more traditional way, but I think cutting's faster. And last but not least, we've got some fresh basil. So these three ingredients, the mint and cilantro and basil, are very typical in Thai food. You might see Thai basil instead of regular green basil, but this was what I was able to get my hands on when I was gathering ingredients for the salad. The flavor's not that dissimilar. And again, the basil's pretty tender, so it doesn't need a whole lot of chopping. It kind of sticks together, so you'll want to toss it a bit to get the pieces apart. Okay. Now we're going to give the salad one more little toss, get the herbs partially mixed in. There we go. We'll give the edge of our bowl a wipe since we're not transferring to a serving bowl. Sprinkle our peanuts on top. Sometimes in Thai food they chop the peanuts really finely. I like them a little coarser for texture, and also it's a good visual cue for someone who might not be able to eat peanuts that they really see them on top. You can use cashews instead if you don't want to use peanuts or don't prefer them, and same with cashew butter in the dressing. So now our Thai summer roll salad is ready to enjoy.
Coming up next is a hearty and delicious twist on a classic favorite. It's a salad that makes a great vegetarian main or side dish.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Justin Laporte. Attention all pet owners. The Ottawa Pet Expo is coming to the EY Centre on November 1st and 2nd. Offering a weekend full of furry, scaly, and feathery fun. Visitors can enjoy live grooming demos, a bird zone, and plant and aquatic exhibits, and a pet-centric marketplace featuring over 200 vendors. Workshops, meet-the-trainer sessions, and interactive activities round out the schedule. The expo runs Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and pets are welcomed. Visit petexpo.ca or scan the QR code on the screen for full details. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
Welcome to Ottawa in the Know. I'm Julie Finley. I'm happy to be here to show you everything from bike trails to kitchen tales and all the things in between that make Ottawa so great.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdsville, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Paula Roy's Favorite Foods is made possible with the help of Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
I love using fresh herbs in cooking, but I worry about sometimes little bits going to waste. So I've got a hot tip for you when it comes to cilantro. Did you know that the roots and the stems are edible and full of flavor? When I've almost finished with the leaves, I chop up the stems and roots and freeze them, and then they're there whenever I need them to add to soups and stews and so on. All right, we're up with our second salad recipe, and this one is inspired by my lifelong love of Greek food. There's something about the olives and lemon and all the flavors you think about, oregano, they just really work for me. Unlike a lot of pasta salads, I've chosen to use orzo for this one, which I love because it lets the other ingredients really shine because the pasta grains are so nice and small. I have pre-cooked my orzo and just drizzled it with a little bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking together. You can do this ahead of time, up to 48 hours, and that really speeds up making the salad when you want to get ready to serve it. Generally, salads are better when they're prepared kind of right before they get to the table, but a pasta salad's a bit more forgiving that way. So first we're going to get our dressing ready. Again, the mason jar, and I've got some red wine vinegar in here. I really like this red wine vinegar from Farm Boy. It's got a nice flavor, and don't be worried if over time you notice it changes color a little bit. It's still perfectly safe to use if you don't go through a lot of vinegar. I happen to use a lot of vinegar. To that, we're going to add some lemon juice, characteristic of the Greek flavor profile. A nice amount of oregano, again, also very common. I love oregano. A little bit of salt and pepper. I keep these little mills by my side when I'm cooking, and they're just easy to reach for and add in what I need. They're from Lee Valley Tools, in case you're wondering. And we're going to give this a shake before we add the olive oil so these items can blend first. Now, if you want a thicker, creamier dressing in terms of texture, you can add the oil really slowly and whisk continuously, or use an immersion blender. I'm happy with a regular vinaigrette, so I'm just going to pour my oil in all in one shot. And I often make double the dressing I need because then I'll use it for another salad within the week or so. There we go. Oh, that just looks so good. So now we're going to get the ingredients ready for our salad. It's pretty straightforward. We've got our cooked orzo. We're going to cut some cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, and we've got green pepper, and that's kind of the base of the salad, and then we'll have some add-ins after that. If you like, you can buy the little Lebanese or Persian cucumbers and just slice them into rounds or half moons. I almost always have a long English cucumber on the go because I really love cucumber and I use it a lot. So this is about 1/3 of an English cucumber right here. And the slices are, I don't know, about 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty freestyle, you don't have to worry too much about it. Now when it comes to cutting tomatoes, I've got this great trick. You'll see that it's sitting on a lid and I can't see where I put my other lid, so I'm just going to grab one. And what you want to do is get 2 lids that match, put the tomatoes in between, press down, and cut. This knife is not as sharp as I would like, but it does the trick. And this way the tomatoes don't fly all over the place, and you don't have to spend time cutting each individual tomato. If you have a lot to cut, it really saves time. There we go. Like I said, sharper knife would be a cleaner cut, but this is perfect for our salad. So now we're going to put our orzo in the bowl. And because it's been sitting overnight, it needs a little persuasion, but the dressing will help with that as well. So orzo, if you're not familiar with it, the pasta looks like grains of rice, and I think that's what the name means in Italian. And it's nice because it is so small in texture. If you had freshly cooked it, obviously you wouldn't have to worry about it sticking together like this, but again, it's not a problem. It'll all work out just fine. We've got our cut green pepper. Sometimes in Greek salad, the pieces are really big, like about an inch in size. I like it smaller for this recipe because it is closer to the size of the orzo. And we'll add our cucumber in. And the next item we're going to add right now is some lightly pickled red onion. So it's been soaking in cold water with a bit of vinegar. It takes the harshness out of the onion, which is really nice. Some people don't prefer raw onions, so they find that this is much more pleasing. If you're not sure about the taste buds of the people you're going to be serving this to, you can absolutely put the onion on the side, and then folks can just sprinkle it on top of their own servings. And our last two toppings are going to be olives and feta, which again, Greek salad hallmarks. So we're going to give our dressing another stir here, another shake rather, and we'll drizzle half over, just like I mentioned in the first salad. You don't want to drown it, so do about half, and then check, and then you can always add more. It's just really hard to subtract it. And again, I'm just taking advantage of the dressing to help separate the orzo a little bit here. Wow, isn't this colorful? It just, oh my gosh, it calls to me with all the colors and all the flavors. So, so good. Okay. Tuck those onions down there. Then we're going to scatter our olives. You can have them if you like. I love Kalamata olives, so I like to leave them whole. And it also makes it easier if there are folks who don't prefer them, that they can scoop around them when they're serving themselves. So that's one more reason to consider leaving them whole. And then last but not least, we've got our crumbled feta. This is great Canadian goat's milk feta that I found at Farm Boy, and I am just obsessed with it. It's got such good flavor, and it keeps for a long time in the brine in the fridge, a couple of weeks at least. So there you go. So this salad would be great served up. I'm not even going to add more dressing because I'm happy with that. What I might do is at serving time, I would put the dressing in a pretty little jug on the table and then invite people, if they want their salad a little bit saucier, they could drizzle some on their own portion. I would probably serve this up with some grilled sausages and some crusty bread, and it would make a perfect summertime meal. Even if it's the dead of winter, it'll make you think about summer. So I hope you try this Greek pasta salad and enjoy it as much as I do.
I'm a big fan of coleslaw and enjoy coming up with different dressings and add-ins to keep things fun and fresh. Up next is an Asian-inspired version. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Khadija Abdinor. It's that time of the year again. Every year on the first Sunday of November, we turn the clocks back 1 hour. This year, that's on November 2nd. This marks the end of Daylight Saving Time and the beginning of Daylight Standard Time. The good news is that you can get an extra hour of sleep. The bad news is that this comes with earlier sunsets and longer evenings. The change is a good reminder for Ottawa's households to check smoke detectors, replace batteries, change your furnace filter, and review emergency kits. For car drivers, it's a good time to see if your windshield wipers are ready for winter snow and make that appointment to change over your all-season tires to winter tires before it's too late. Don't repeat last year's mistake. Remember, fall back and spring forward. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
Thursdays.
These cases are hard. It's okay if you don't want to fight, because we are going to fight for you.
We have to be able to say we did everything we could.
Every move we make is being scrutinized.
He needs to pay for what he did.
Some things in life you can't run from.
I'm going to make sure that you spend the rest of your days in a 6x8 cell.
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
Trying to fly ball. Left field in deep. Rosarena turns.
Paula Roy's Favorite Foods is made possible with the help of Farm Boy. It's all about the food.
Next up, I've got a really neat twist on coleslaw for you. My family loves coleslaw to a point. I think I was serving it a bit too often. It just goes so well with burgers and hot dogs and picnics and sandwiches and all kinds of things. I finally decided I would switch it up, and now this has become our new favorite. It's an Asian-inspired coleslaw, so the dressing's got a lot of familiar Asian ingredients, and we've got crunchy bean sprouts in there. It's really, really a versatile dish. I'm not embarrassed to say that for dinner, my husband and I will often have Ottawa's world-famous Golden Palace egg rolls with this salad, and to me, that's a perfectly balanced meal. And if you aren't in Ottawa, if you come to Ottawa, you really should try the egg rolls. Not sponsored, just a huge fan. So our salad, we've got some shredded cabbage. I like to shred it by hand. You can see these are fairly fine pieces. One of my sisters is a wizard with a knife, and she can cut it probably half again or more as fine. Good for her. This is good enough for me. As I've said before with cabbage and salads, nothing wrong with buying bagged shredded cabbage. I do pick it over and pull out the big bits or chop them up because I like it to be fairly uniform in size. So before we assemble our salad, we're going to start, as always, with our vinaigrette. And again, this is Asian inspired. So right now we have some minced ginger root in here. And what I like to do with ginger is to buy a really big piece and grate the entire thing. There's no need to peel it because if you're using a traditional box grater, the peel will just kind of stay outside the little holes and you can discard it and you're left with just this nice heaping pile of ginger. I put it in a Ziploc bag and flatten it out, put it in the freezer. Every time I need some grated ginger, I just open the freezer, pull out the bag, break a corner off, put it into my jar, and it's ready to go. If you need it promptly, you might need to heat it briefly, either by putting the vessel in some hot water or using the microwave, but otherwise it'll just melt on its own until you're ready for it. Next up, we have some rice vinegar, because that's great for Asian. So you can see that my ginger is already perfectly dissolved into the little bits that we love. Have some sesame oil. We have some maple syrup, which is not a traditional Asian ingredient, but I love it anyway. They would tend to use granulated white sugar, but I often substitute with maple whenever I can. It's such a great Canadian product, and I just prefer the flavor. It's a little mellower. You don't really discern the taste of maple in this dressing, but it just tastes good. And then last but not least, some vegetable oil, about a tablespoon. So as always, lid on nice and tight. That's why these canning jars are so great. You know the lids are tight. And the whole thing goes in the dishwasher, so that's helpful. So now we've got our dressing ready and we'll set that aside. We're gonna get the herbs ready next, and then we'll assemble the salad. So first up, we've got some cilantro, and if you were watching earlier in the episode, you would have heard me mention that the stems are very tasty on cilantro. So I'm not going to take the leaves off the stems for this. I'm just going to chop the cilantro stems and leaves and all, and not super tiny, kind of a, I don't know, 1 centimeter size pieces maybe. If you have friends that don't like cilantro, you could skip it or put it on the side, obviously. You could replace it with basil or mint or a combination thereof. You could even use parsley, which doesn't add as much flavor, but it'll certainly add a nice pop of color to the salad. And the parsley flavor will not fight with the dressing. All right, I'm happy with that. Couple more little swipes with the knife. There we go. Push that to one side. And green onion. If you've been watching this season, you'll know that I use a lot of green onion. They're so economical for the bunch, and they keep forever in the fridge. I usually bring them home and wrap them in a piece of paper towel and then make sure they're in a plastic or a silicone food bag that's closed so that the air isn't getting in. And I find that they can last for weeks and weeks. And the good news is you can take the root end, as I've mentioned before, and stick it in a glass of water if you've got, say, an inch of the green onion left, and it will sprout again, and then you can harvest more. So really versatile ingredient. I love chives. When I have them in my garden, I'll use those a lot, but off season, this is my go-to. And we just want to make sure that none of these pieces are too big. Yeah, happy with that. Get the runaways. Okay, so now it's time to assemble. So we've got our cabbage, as I mentioned, grated carrot, which is a classic coleslaw item. And we'll just toss those two together, get the runaways again. And these can be grated ahead of time, grated and shredded if you want to speed things up. I'm all about the make ahead wherever possible. The ratio of cabbage to carrot is really one of your preference. Often it's sort of a 2-to-1 for coleslaw recipes, and I'm happy with that. Now we've got our bean sprouts, and bean sprouts should always be rinsed when you go to use them. And some people, purists, and I had an Asian friend teach me this, they will take off the little sort of sprout ends off each and every single sprout. Good for them. I've done it. It's a lot of work. They're perfectly edible. They're just sometimes a little bit discolored, and that's why the purists will take them off. But for this dish, I'm not concerned. And it's about the same amount again as the cabbage. Bean sprouts will only keep for a couple of days in the fridge, so you don't want to buy them too far in advance of when you're going to use them. And I always try to get ones that are either loose or store-packed in bags rather than the commercially packed bags, as I find that they have a really poor shelf life in the fridge. So once again, we're just trying to get it mixed a little bit. I'm happy with that. Get our herbs in there. Learning about cilantro stems was a revelation to me, and I find the flavor on them is even better than the leaves. Okay, so as always, we'll start with some of the dressing, not all. I am going to get a spoon just to make sure I get some of the ginger that might be lurking in the bottom. There we go. And the way to tell if your salad is adequately dressed is to give it a toss and then peek down to the bottom and see if there's liquid on the bottom of the bowl, and there is. So I know that that means it's gone right through the whole salad, and that's probably enough. Some people really like a lot of dressing, so once again, you could easily pass the extra in a pretty little jug at the table. Okay, and because this is Asian inspired, we're going to finish off with a sprinkling of peanuts. And I just can't believe how good this smells. I think your family will love it if you switch up your coleslaw routine in favor of this Asian inspired slaw.
I'm often looking for ways to add extra nutrition to my menus, and colorful, flavorful salads are one of my favorite solutions. I hope you're inspired to try my summer roll salad, Greek-style pasta salad, or Asian-style slaw with sprouts the next time you're looking for a fresh new salad idea.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Passionate content creator ready to expand your audience reach? Do you have unique stories, captivating hobbies, or special interests that deserve a spotlight? Rogers TV is here to amplify your voice within the community.